Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Asi, and today's topic is Module 3, BSC1010 Module 3 review. We're going to review 3 chapters briefly, 9, 10, and 12. So chapter 9 is about cellular respiration, chapter 10 is about photosynthesis, and chapter 12 is about cell cycle and mitosis. So, always, make sure that you actually do your deep reading from the textbook, Chemical Biology, again, these chapters, 9, 10, 12, and also your class notes and PowerPoints from the Canvas, and then pay attention to these key points from this review. Okay, so we have flash card ideas you can make about respiration, cellular respiration, fermentation, glycolysis, citric acid cycle, oxidative phosphorylation, chemiosmosis, ETC, electron transport chain, oxygen, reactions, ATP, NAD+, NADH. So let's get started. Okay, chapter 9, first, cellular respiration. Very, very important, right? Complete oxidation of glucose to get a number of ATP out, and going through basically these 3 basic phases, like glycolysis outside in the cytoplasm, and then inside mitochondria, we have citric acid cycle and oxidative phosphorylation, which is really a combination of ETC plus chemiosmosis, right? For glycolysis, we don't need oxygen, as you already know. Basically, glycolysis can happen with or without oxygen, and it's outside of mitochondria. But the other 2 phases must have oxygen. So make sure that you study the redox reactions here, this catabolic pathways, and glycolysis is the first part that starting by harvesting chemical energy, oxidizing glucose, and then continuing pyruvate, and then acetyl-CoA, and then citric acid cycle, CO2 is coming out, NADH, carrying the electrons, FADH2, and then they going to the oxidative phosphorylation, which is, again, there is an LETC, electron transport chain, which carries everything down to the, together with chemiosmosis, it completes oxidative phosphorylation to have up to 32 ATP produced from the 1 mole of glucose, C6H12O6. Now, what happens if we don't have an oxygen available? Then actually glycolysis cannot continue through the regular aerobic cellular respiration. It has to make a U-turn and move to a fermentation, which could be actually produce ethanol, lactic acid, and also ATP. So as an alternative mechanism, right? So, so you reading and complete the homework on chapter 9. Chapter 10 is photosynthesis, which is related to chapter 9 in a way that are basically, they use each other's products as a reactants. So photosynthesis and cellular respiration is linked to each other, right? So we already know that. So photosynthesis on the other side uses light, sunlight, like in this case, as an energy source, and everything is linked to light, right? So there are 3 different types of photosynthesis. Plants actually evolve carrying out. The one you see is like default photosynthesis is C3 photosynthesis, which basically the leaf anatomy also has a palisade mesophyll at the top. That's like typical C3 photosynthesis. But there are 2 other types of photosynthesis, like C4 and CAM, that they actually split or separated light reactions from the Calvin cycle, and also they switch to a different enzyme like PEPC, carboxylase, and so they do things slightly different. Some plant species use those 2 other alternative photosynthesis mechanisms. So the products are oxygen, and G3P is a sugar source which can be converted to glucose and starch, and they use Again, the original energy source is light energy in photosynthesis. There is something called photorespiration. In this case, actually the enzyme uses oxygen instead of CO2, consumes oxygen, and because of that, it's a wasteful process, and C4 chem actually can be a solution to this issue in plants. So that's chapter 10, and chapter 12 is cell cycle mitosis. We know that cell cycle mitosis is so important for plants and animals and fungi and all organisms that basically carry out a cell cycle and then make new cells from pre-existing cells. There are phases, 5 different phases in mitosis. There is also interphase before that, and then there is tightly control and regulation of the cell cycle. Otherwise, it could turn to the cancer cells and lose control, and they actually accumulate in a specific location that can be caused like tumors. Mitosis is very important, as actually if there is only one parent cell and if you want to make exact replica of 2 replicas of the parent cell, exact copy of the parent cell, then mitosis is the cell division to go. Again, I'll make sure that you study all the phases of mitosis and the chromosomes, how the chromosomes look in each phase and what's in following phase, what's the previous phase, and how many chromosomes, and the final daughter cells, and then the chromosome number in these daughter cells. So again, come by office hours if you have more questions, or contact me and the cameras. And best of luck. Okay, happy studying.